welcome to the Screamcast, episode 167. Only the second episode of 2019. See, I can't even get the years right because it's been so long. Episode 167.
How long has it been?
It's been since March.
Ain't that long.
That's like a few months. So, welcome back, everybody. We apologize for the delay. The South by Southwest episode, Brad, is lost in limbo.
It was a recorded episode that is forgotten, and much like how I discover movies that are lost, someone's going to discover a lost podcast episode, and it's going to get released on something. I don't know.
Vinegar iTunes going to release.
Vinegar Syndrome coming 2030. Vinegar Syndrome iTunes exclusive.
Well,
$69.99 for a slipcase.
You know what we can do, Brad? We can actually just what you have recorded, we can actually put that up for our Club Scum members, the ones that have held on. The few Club Scum members that have held on, we can give that to them, and because they heard the Pet Cemetery interview. So,
oh, look at that.
Anyway, so we're back. Again, like this year is going to be spotty like this, and we do apologize. Like I said, I'm embarking on my audiobook narration and voiceover career, so that's kind of taken off. I've done 6 books now, and then I have 11 more on the production schedule for this year. So either I'm fucked or it's going to be awesome. So I don't know. So we'll see.
Good.
Make sure to review them on Goodreads, everybody.
Yeah, please review them. And you know what? Come on. You know what? I'm just getting used to this. And one of you out there who will remain nameless as of now apparently has a pet peeve with breathing into the microphone. So I'm just gonna breathe into the microphone and talk. That's for you. I'm learning that you just don't read reviews unless they're and like there's a few people that can give you
or
constructive
listen
criticism.
to them like in a podcast.
Don't listen. Yeah.
Have your mom vet them for you.
Yeah.
Or someone you trust.
So I do get there's a thing. There's this crazy audiobook listening community that has like a full list in Excel of pet peeves, and it all starts to contradict each other. Everything. So it's like, some people don't like when a male narrator kind of does a girl voice, a female character in the book. I don't know. They don't want him to talk higher. But then there's people that don't want the guy narrator to talk like a man if he's supposed to be a woman. It all goes around.
I have
full
a
circle.
pet peeve.
So whatever.
When movie podcasts talk about audiobooks.
I know. God damn it.
I think I have to agree with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, like I'm here. I clicked on something called the Screamcast.
I know.
I'm listening to some nerd talk.
I know. God damn it. Self-promotion. That's the pet peeve, is self-promotion. Anyway, we're back is all I'm trying to say. Brad,
so it's a topic.
So with me, of course, is Brad Henderson and Stephanie Crawford.
There you go.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
She should
enjoy the sausage fest.
That's my Jeff Goldblum. I'm so out of it with podcasting. I'm totally gonna be a hot mess on this episode, so I apologize. But
like usual, nothing's changed. Awesome, good to know.
Nothing's changed. No,
it's like coming home.
So today we are going to do another kind of What's on Your Doorstep episode, which is kind of what we're going to be doing this year until we kind of figure stuff out. Until I quit my day job and I can just do this full time, podcast full time, a Screamcast every day. We're going to do What's on Your Doorstep, and I have a stack of movies in front of me. Brad has like a room full of Blu-rays. He's going to be kind of going through stacks and stacks of Blu-rays, and then Stephanie is here stack as well.
Don't you listen to Sean? I'm here.
I'm done.
Don't forget me, everybody.
That's pretty fucking funny.
Oh my god,
you suck, Sean. All right, so let Stephanie go first.
No.
Yeah. Stephanie belongs up front and center.
Yeah.
Sean, you need to lie down.
Okay.
Man, why do I always talk myself into going first? So, okay, my first movie is one I had zero familiarity with. Oh. And it's a documentary called Mansfield 6667.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, cool. I always feel way too proud of myself if Brad hasn't heard of it. Not so much you, Sean.
No, I'm. You'll see from my list today that I'm very, very vanilla.
So it was released by Gunpowder and Sky, and it's a documentary about Jane Mansfield. It mostly centers on the last years of her life. That's where the title 66, 67 comes from, and especially focuses on her relationship with Anton LaVey.
Oh.
Which is pretty notorious at the time when he was getting chummy with all the Hollywood glitterati back then. So if you don't know Jane Mansfield, you probably do, but she was a starlet. She was considered like the B-list Marilyn Monroe. And she did this great movie called Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter, where she makes fun of her own reputation. She had a genius level IQ. She could play the violin almost like a virtuoso, but she played up the ditzy blonde, everything pink thing. So everyone underestimated her. Everyone picked on her. She had a pretty rough life for a beautiful young woman. And I knew a good amount about her because I'm a fan, but this is interesting because this opens up and it's like kind of a community theater thing, and they sing this weird song about Jane Mansfield and they do interpretive dance. I was like, oh God, no, I don't want to see this. But then they start talking. Well, they talk to John Waters right off, who's a big Jane Mansfield fan. So I calmed down a little bit. So it's kind of an interesting format where it goes between talking to scholars and journalists, people like Dolly Reed from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls and Peaches Christ and Kenneth Anger, Mary Wernoff, Tippi Hedren, which I'll get into more later, and Mamie Van Doren. And they use old clips, and it's kind of a weird mix because sometimes I hated it and it eventually won me over. It's very sensationalistic. It really gets into the tabloid. She was one of the biggest tabloid stars of the time. She craved attention. She was an exhibitionist, and this kind of revels in that. And she eventually became a Satanist, and that's why she got in with Anton LaVey. And it's very hard to describe this movie because they'll show clips. They'll have very intelligent people talking about her life, and then they'll switch over to dancers, like recreating the car crash that killed her.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty strange, but in the end, I was completely drawn in. It was pretty fascinating. So the Blu-ray is kind of terrible.
Oh.
It has no extras. The audio isn't very good, and it has 4 subtitles. You can't do anything about them. But if you're interested in weird Hollywood, classic Hollywood, or if you have a passing interest in anyone involved, you can rent it online. Yeah, I ended up loving it, and I haven't seen anything like this in a very long time. It's pretty experimental, but it's fun. So, yeah, I really like this. And there's a story in it. Anton LaVey had a lion as a pet, and he got it as a cub, and he raised it in his house in California. And they have a great clip of his son nervously talking right in front of the lion saying, "It's not very loud. I'm used to it." And it's just behind going, "Roar." It's so weird. So eventually the lion gets too big to keep in a house. So what happens is it ends up with Tippi Hedren, who was famously took care of animals, and she knew her shit, and she had a great space for them. And that lion ended up in the movie Roar.
Oh.
Which I just recently finally saw. I knew about its reputation, but I finally saw it. So Anton LaVey's lion is like one of the featured most aggressive lions in that film.
Of
And
course it is.
yeah, and the what was his name? Togar, I think. And Togar and his mate had a cub not that long after. But during that time, Tippi Hedren was friends with William Blatley, who wrote The Exorcist. And as he was writing The Exorcist, he would send her chapters, like chapter by chapter. And it was such a great experience for her that she named the cub Bill after William Blatley. And she said herself, like, I love that I had Anton LaVey's lion, and then the baby was named after the author of The Exorcist. So those are just the kind of stories that documentary is filled with and eventually won me over.
Love it.
But Roar, I'll just go to that really quickly. So you have a doctor who lives in Africa, and you just have tigers and lions and giant cats just roaming a house open in Africa, and it's just very normal to them. There's one man who's pretty nervous, and he kind of represents the audience. Like, really? You really just let him wander around, knock you over? Sorry, it's hard for me to talk about this movie because I was so tense during the whole thing. It's hard for me to believe it exists. Like when they brought it back out a couple years ago, it had like a lot of big fanfare because not many people had seen it. It's so shocking. And right up front, it says none of the animals were harmed, which is really good. They tell you because everything in here is so real. People are sincerely getting knocked over. Tippi Hedren's daughter, Melanie Griffin, it's their real family in it because they're very comfortable with the animals. At one point, she had her face scratched almost completely open. They don't put it in the film, but it happened. And so they're just kind of terrorized. Something happens and the animals start terrorizing them, and they're really getting knocked over. They're really getting held down. They're really running and hiding from them. And it's the most tense movie I've ever seen in my entire life. But it's amazing.
Yeah.
And these two, I would recommend watching Mansfield 66, 67 Roar together.
That's a great double feature.
They're very unique movies. Yeah. Nice. Jan de Bont was the cinematographer. It's really beautiful, but
didn't he get his like hair ripped off or something? Like,
I think everyone got something ripped off at some point. Broken fingers. Like
everybody got injured. Or
oh my God.
A lot of people got injured on the set.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's cool because as tense as it is, it's so realistic because there'll be moments where, you know, lions are just crawling over people, and then they'll kind of have like a breather where they're still in the room with them and they're all chilling. And you're like, okay, I guess it's animal law right now. And you're having a cool down period. And then the tension ramps back up, and it defies any normal film narrative. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm glad I finally checked it out. If you haven't seen it yet, you have to. You have to.
Very nice. Very nice. Brad, would you like to go?
That's hard to follow up. I guess that
show's over.
Yeah, that's it. That's the episode 1, whatever it is, and no one cares about numbers. Well, I've seen quite a bit over the course of the past 3 months or however long it's been, but I'll talk about an important film rather than something good or, you know, kind of more or less an iconic film that I've seen that kind of changed the way I view cinema in general. So I had like this huge epiphany while watching this movie, and honestly, I kind of made me rethink everything, like my life, everything. I got to watch John Travolta's Gotti John
Oh
Gotti.
my God.
You were saying you couldn't follow me? I'm glad I didn't follow you.
So I took the time to watch John Gotti, also known as Gotti. I heard, to preface this conversation, the movie came out, and critics kind of they did bash it. They bashed the film. So then, like, they reformulated all their trailers saying, put a hit out on the critics. Would you rather listen to a troll behind a keyboard or listen to the fan base? And so people got really upset because that's what the trailer said. It said, we're going to put a hit out on the critics, or you don't trust a troll behind a keyboard. I thought that was hilarious myself. Which made me kind of want to see the movie even more. But, I just really didn't have, I hardly go to the theater anyway. So I'm definitely not going to waste my time to go see Gotti. Plus, it only lasted in theaters like a week. So it was like $3.99 on Vudu, and I bought it because it was for sale. I could rent it for $4.99 or buy it for $3.99. So I think I made the right choice. So one night I was just basically, I've been watching a lot of stuff that I normally wouldn't watch. As far as like series and stuff like that, popular series that I've never seen, or one thing or the other. So anyways, I put in Gotti. In the first 5 minutes, I'm blown away. Forget everything you know about how to make a movie. So
Done.
This is written by Leo Rossi. Leo Rossi is a older actor from kind of semi-popular in the B movies, probably in the 80s. He starred in Relentless. He was like in Relentless 1 and 2. Pretty much everybody will know him as he is in Halloween 2. He is the guy that sings Amazing Grace, Come Sit on My Face. He's the one that sings that when they're in the break room.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, anyways, it's written by Leo Rossi. It's directed by Kevin Conley, who is E on Entourage, and stars, of course, John Travolta and his wife Kelly Preston playing his wife Miss Gotti in the film. So already, this just setup is unbelievable to me. So I start watching the movie, and I'm thinking I'm going to get like a biopic, from beginning to end about John Gotti. No, I don't. Basically, this script was written as if somebody grabbed an autobiography that was written by Gotti himself, and they went through and they highlighted everything that they thought was badass. And then they just filmed those scenes and then put them in chronological order. That's the movie we're dealing with here. We're like watching a highlight reel.
This was the movie that sunk MoviePass.
So we're watching a movie of clips, which is amazing to me because I'm not a mafia enthusiast. I really don't know anything about the mafia so much.
We have a mafia history museum here in Vegas. If you ever
I want to learn, because after the film was over, I was like, I gotta read. Like, how was this made? Well, number one, I found out it's made by the family. They handpicked everybody. They were heavily involved in the production.
Wait. Which family?
The Gotti family.
Okay.
So it really wanted to focus on the good things about Gotti. And I didn't know this dude has a huge following during the mafia, from in the 70s and 80s to when he was doing all his court stuff. And even still today, there are parties and street parties during his birthday to celebrate John Gotti, because he made the neighborhood a safer place. Everybody has their opinions, and it's fine. I don't have anything against John Gotti. He killed a couple people, mafia. Okay, whatever. The main focus is how amazing this movie is, because it's put together in such a way that it's mind-blowing, because I really haven't seen anything like this. because it's almost hilarious to the point where how much it's glorifying John Gotti, just even with the most mundane things. Needle drops in the film. I feel that it's possibly they picked what John Gotti really liked, like his favorite songs, and then randomly threw them in the movie. Like at one point, John Gotti is in court and he is found not guilty, and he has this smug look on his face, and he does the John Gotti walk, and then the Bangles walk like an Egyptian starts while he strolls through the courtroom looking at everybody, looking at the jurors, looking at the judge, to the point where he's walking outside. I'm like, all right, okay, fine, whatever. Then there's another crucial, quote unquote, crucial part of the film where there's a car bomb and some people die. That's some of Gotti's people. And then West End Girls, Pet Shop Boys starts playing. And I'm like, why is this music? Like the songs that are picked, why? But then this is what really threw me for a loop. And this is what solidifies this movie as the greatest movie ever made. Is that I don't care in a movie if the movie is set in the 70s and then not in the movie itself, but you hear a song that came out at a later time. That's totally cool. You know?
Right.
But in the film, they're listening to music in the movie that hasn't come out yet. There is a sequence where they're having a street party and the cops try to come shut it down. And it's just this random scene. Like they're having a street party. John Gotti's like in the street and these cops come up and they're like, we're going to shut your block party down. He's like, you ain't shutting nobody down. Blah. Let's turn up the music. Turn it up. And then Pitbull starts playing. And they all start dancing.
Blah.
And the movie, then the scene ends. And I'm like, there's nothing happened. Nothing happened in this scene. It's like they're sitting around, hey, remember that time Dad told the cops to fuck off during that, street party? Yeah, write that down. That's how this movie was made. And it's amazing. So, put a hit out on the critics. Don't listen to trolls behind their keyboard. Listen to the fans. Gotti is a masterpiece in its own weird fucking way. I enjoyed this movie so goddamn much because it took me till the end of the movie to find out what was actually really happening.
Oh, they tell you?
Kind of. So it made me read a lot of articles and some history. I really wanted to read about it because I was so fascinated by this movie. And I don't know. It's going to be one of those things where this movie's going to pop up in one of these films that gets screened in 10 years for like some weird night. That's what's going to happen to Gotti because people are going to understand like how crazy this fucking movie is.
It's already like a huge meme on Reddit and on the movie forums. Like they're crazy for Gotti.
Of course,
it's so good.
Apparently, it was in developmental hell since like 2010. But Barry Levinson was like kind of directed and.
Yeah, I was reading like all the different.
And each year,
Gotti family picked John Travolta.
Wow.
Like I don't think I would be able to work on a movie like that. You'd be scared to fucking death.
Well, you'd be scared to say no to them. So, like, what do you do?
Right.
Yeah.
And how much pressure is under the fucking screenwriter? And also, Leo Rossi's in the film and plays kind of Gotti's right hand man. So I don't know, man. This movie is a trashy fucking masterpiece.
Awesome.
But I had a lot of fun with it. So follow that up, Sean.
Okay. Well, the first movie I'm going to talk about is 2003's a movie called Shredder, and it just came out on Scorpion just released the Blu-ray of it. And this is a movie that it's one of those in the early 2000s. I saw it in the like the Hollywood video, and I had never got around to renting it, and I forgot about it. And then Scorpion announced that they were doing this special edition of Shredder, which is just
such a weird movie to pick up. When they announced that, I thought it was a kind of a joke.
Well,
and,
I had to double take.
I was shocked that it was actually shot on film.
Yeah,
because it's made during the early days of kind of that not mini DV, but just kind of early digital days.
Yeah,
and I was shocked. I actually because I've owned it for the longest time. As MGM put it out as well. It was the first company to put out. So it's like I feel like Scorpion did this deal with MGM because they have a lot of MGM titles recently.
Well, yeah, MGM sold just like selling everything off, but
and it was like they have 9 movies in this 10 package deal, and then Walt's just like, Shredder, yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie.
It's a pretty
just
fun
a remake
movie.
of Ice. That's all.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the funny thing is, when I first got it, I thought I was buying Iced. I thought it was Iced, and then
we haven't gotten that lucky yet. Everyone underestimates Shredder, but we aren't lucky enough for Iced yet.
So I thought it was Iced, and then I looked at the year. I was like, oh shit! And then I did some research, and I was like, yeah, this looks like a fun release, and I want to support Scorpion. So I picked it up, and yeah, it's a fun movie, man. It's an early 2000s slasher shot on film, and where this killer wants to kill snowboarders. And
Death to all snowboarders.
And it's pretty fun. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Scorpion did a great job on their Blu-ray release. They have some fun, like their artwork. They're taking notes, of course, from the other companies, and they're trying to do their thing. So
it's just like Code Red released the Backlog Murders with Corey Haim.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, if there's a resurgence of 2000 to 2003 generic slashers, I'm going to get on that train, because there's actually a lot of good ones that people just do not talk about or ever mention.
Yeah.
Does it have to be a slasher? Because what about Icebreaker with Sean Astin and Bruce Campbell?
Okay, well, there are, like, here's the thing.
I don't know if I've seen that Icebreaker.
Oh, it's fun. You should check it out.
People trash the 90s and early 2000s quite a bit. And it was when there were, honestly, more movies were at the video stores just showing up on shelves and didn't go the theatrical experience. It was like the age of direct-to-video stuff. I mean, we always had direct-to-video stuff, but like this was just a bombardment of movies.
Oh my God. Icebreaker was this was Sean Astin, right?
That's what I just said, yeah.
Holy moly. And a bald Bruce Campbell as the villain?
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
God, why haven't I seen this?
Yeah.
Amazing.
But these movies came out, and like just no one paid attention at the time, and they'll slowly probably get rediscovered. But yeah, man, there's a lot of fun slashers.
Yeah.
Like a lot of fun slashers.
There's some good ones, and everyone kind of lumps them into, Scream and I know what you did last summer, those films, but I feel like Shredder.
Well, they're definitely playing off the huge success. I mean, these movies were being made.
I don't know if Shredder necessarily was. I don't know if Shredder necessarily was.
It was a ripoff of Ice.
It's
fucking Ice.
Yeah.
I was at Goodwill the other day and just looking through, and I came upon Soul Survivors, which I hadn't thought about since it probably came out.
So
I was like, oh. Now that I found this, there's going to be a bunch of articles coming out like, I think we all slept on Soul Survivors, guys.
You did. That unrated version of that movie is fucking killer. Directed by Stephen Carpenter, by the way, who did The Kindred and fucking The Dormant Blood and The Power.
Okay.
I called it.
Yeah.
I'm glad this is documented.
Yeah, fucking Soul Survivors with fucking what was it, Wes Bentley, fucking Eliza Dushku. No, I like that movie, and the PG-13 version is a lot different. Like the PG-13 version's not good.
I saw the unrated version. I saw the unrated version, and I hated the ending so much.
That's fine. You don't have to like everything, Sean.
But he likes to be like you.
But see, I was younger and less informed with. Maybe I need to reevaluate.
Also, here's the other thing: is like in a scale of 2000 to 2003 slashers, that's more bottom tier. Like there's some stuff that's like some top tier shit. like the fucking pool with fucking James McAvoy and Isla Fisher, a German slasher with American actors. Dude, that shit is fucking.
Slim fan?
No.
Oh.
That movie's underrated though. With fucking Jesse Bradford and Christensen, whatever his name is. Like, no, Swim Fan is another one that needs like ultimate Blu-ray release by fucking some company that's willing to do it.
I'd buy it.
No,
I like Swim Fan.
I think Swim Fan was fine. I thought it was a fun, like, kind of riff off those, stuff like the Crush and The Babysitter and Fear and shit like that. But anyways, all right. I'm sorry, Sean, that we hijacked your Shredder.
I know.
Shredder.
Shredder's not a movie you can really wax, eloquent about Shredder. It's just it's an early 2000s slasher film that was a lot of fun, and I knew Brad would have some shit to say about
board. Sorry, I'm not making it any better.
Wax this board now, or death to snowboarders.
Do you wax snowboards, or is it just surfboards?
Wait, is that no?
Yay! All
right.
Making an appearance.
Yeah, they're watching the American Idol. They're catching up on American Idol. And he just told me
they were watching
that Lane.
Shredder.
He just told me that Lane won. I'm like, yeah, I know. That was like a month ago.
Daddy says, watch Shredder or death to snowboarders. All right, Stephanie, what you get?
Oh, okay. My is from a huge. I'm embarrassed to actually say this, but I'm going to be honest. One I've been wanting to see for years, and it's Eyes of Laura Mars.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, the new Mill Creek release finally kicked me in the butt to see it, and I'm as embarrassed that it took me this long as I am happy that I finally got around to it.
Pretty sure that's underseen by quite a few people.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I
the poster.
Better.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Continue. You're not alone. You're not alone.
So huge names behind it. You have directed by Irvin Kershner. I always know him from Star Wars, but he's done so much, and it's co-written by John Carpenter. That's the big name people are really attracted to. So you have Faye Dunaway, and she's a model, and she has a pretty lovely, glamorous life in New York City. And suddenly, she's a photographer. That was me being shallow. She's so beautiful. I automatically went to mom. She's a photographer, and she's famous for doing really violent, complex set pieces in her photography. And she's incredibly successful, but also incredibly controversial. And there's a grisly murder on the night of the opening of her big show. And kind of like another movie I saw recently, Lucio Fulci's The Psychic, she kind of sees through the killer's eyes, and she's able to see the murders, and it becomes a pattern, and they're all connected to her in some way. And she meets up with Tommy Lee Jones, who's a cop, and it's almost like a romantic comedy meet cute with them, but in the middle of a murder mystery. They clash, and then they end up softening towards each other, but it's really sexy. It's really smart, but it's pretty grisly. It has an amazing car crash scene, like maybe one of the best I've ever seen. And it has a young Brad Dourif who just pops up. Everything is perfect. And I was expecting to kind of like it, like Play Misty for me, the Clint Eastwood movie. I was expecting something like that, which, while I enjoyed it, I thought was pretty soap operatic. But this one, it's like a very sexy adult murder mystery, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's not cold or detached or anything. It pulls you in. And Faye Dunaway is incredible in it. So I'm just super, super happy I was finally able to see it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
it's a fun little movie.
Yeah, no, if it's something you've heard about but haven't got to now, Mill Creek released it, so it's super cheap. And it's gorgeous too. It's I saw a few people refer to it as an American giallo, and I can completely see that, both with the plot and it's beautiful. So yeah, huge fan.
Wow, it's only like $9.
Yes, Sean, stop making excuses.
Mill Creek's been kind of killing it lately. In a way, I'm surprised. Like with their releases, they're still like bare bones, kind of, sort of, but I mean, they're releasing some good titles.
Yeah, a lot of things other people haven't bothered.
Hmm.
To like Neighbors recently. I like that was a weird one, but I'm happy I finally saw it with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. Have you guys seen that one?
Which one? What
is it?
Neighbors.
I think you talked about that not too long ago with me, and I bought it, but I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's almost it's a little bit like Nothing But Trouble, where it's gonna put a lot of people off because they mix absurd horror elements with a comedy and they don't balance it out quite as well as you would hope, but it's so fascinating and it takes such weird chances. It's worth seeing. But yeah, Dan Aykroyd plays against type. He's like bleach blonde psychopath punk rocker, and John Belushi is the straight-laced guy and like the tweed and the glasses. It's a really interesting dynamic.
Oh, I'll have to check that one out too. Brad?
Oh, hey Sean, how are you? Have you seen Gotti yet? I mean, all right. So, quite a bit has happened again. So there's a few obviously I want to talk about, but it's like, what do I feel most inclined to talk about? So, I watched a movie by the director of Thanksgiving 1 and 3. It was really surprising for his new film called The Headhunter. It's not like Thanksgiving whatsoever. Thanksgiving is about a turkey that kills people and says a lot of one-liners. They're not even long feature films. They're just, I think the first one's like 50 minutes or something like that. But anyways, so Headhunters, again, he makes like these really clean and smooth movie. I actually like Thanksgiving movies, but he did this movie called The Headhunter, or is it just called Headhunter? One or the other. If you look up The Headhunter, I'm sure you'll find it. So it is about this Viking who lives up in kind of a cabin away from everything. And throughout the film, he is called. You hear like this horn that goes off, and he gets his gear on and he goes to wherever it may be, but he comes back with the head of a monster. So this is this guy's job, is that when he's like summoned by a nearby town or outpost or whatever it may be, I don't know what they call them, but he goes to these places and fights a monster. He also has this concoction that he kind of makes that helps him heal as well. So he'll get into these vicious battles, and a lot of this is off screen because due to budgetary constraints. I mean, this movie's made for like 20 grand and it looks like, a $10 million movie, aside from kind of these huge battles that he's going to. So you slowly find out that he has a grave by his house, and he's actually not, this isn't his job. He's searching for a monster that took away something that was important to him. So that's what he's doing, is he's hunting the monster that hurt him most. And once it gets going, about 45 minutes in, it gets a little crazy. And that's when kind of it kicks up into high gear and it becomes really suspenseful. It's very, very well done. The special effects, the monster creature is really great. And it's just a really fast paced, but takes its time with you, kind of action horror film. And it was really impressive because I forget what the budget was. It was extremely low. But when you look at this film, it's shot beautifully. It looks gorgeous. Like everything is just perfect for the sound design is wonderful.
It was like 30,000, I think, was the budget.
30, yeah. This movie, if you would have told me that, I felt like this was like a Shane Abbas movie. If people know who Shane Abbas is, like he take his stretch dollar to make a fucking sci-fi movie. But it's amazing utilizing their time and money with something like this, because it feels like this. It feels also bigger because I guess they are also covering up a lot of stuff, secret, not secrecy, but keeping a lot of things off screen. But it also makes it feel bigger that way. I think it's a trick, but it works perfectly. It's not like they're copping out. They honestly probably couldn't afford, 6 fucking monster battles. They just show the fucking severed heads. But it's a really great movie. It's a great kind of character piece. It's literally one actor the entire time. I don't believe anybody else is in the movie, aside from the monsters. But it's a hell of a movie and definitely one to rent. I don't believe it's getting a physical release at all, as far as I know. So this is kind of like a streaming only. Hopefully it hits Netflix, because I know that's when people will actually watch it, because people don't like to pay for things.
I heard that.
But it's the truth. It's kind of the market that it's going to. It has to show up on Amazon Prime or Netflix for people to watch it, or Shudder, because they pay for the. But it's fine. I mean, I understand money. Money's not. You just can a ton of money. But hopefully it comes on.
You can rent it on Prime Video, and I believe on Vudu, and you can actually buy it digitally as well.
Yeah, it should be relatively cheap to rent. Hopefully it gets a streaming service that's for people, because I know how people are, and it's fine. I'm not judging. It's just that's kind of like how the market works right now.
Lionsgate picked it up and they just dumped it to DVD, which is surprising because normally Lionsgate gives the shittiest movies Blu-rays. Escape Plan 2 on Blu-ray, Escape Plan 3 on Blu-ray, Headhunter.
Wow.
Fucking Lionsgate.
Well, those movies also have already are grounded though. Like this movie
this one doesn't have like an aged actor that's like Bruce Willis coming in to collect a paycheck.
Jesus, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, you're
throwing shade. God. But anyways, watch Headhunter. It's really good.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard about this one. I know it had been screening at film festivals, and I've been hearing about it. And a lot of people complaining, no, don't see all the monsters. But I love like minimalist type movies like this. The costume design itself looks amazing. So I'm in it just for the costume.
It's a beautiful movie too, man. The money's definitely spent in like that production value for sure.
Speaking of movies that paid for production value, this next film I'm going to talk about is a sequel to a long-running series. It's actually the follow-up to the first in the series. It's called Leprechaun Returns.
Wow.
Do you guys remember when MC Hammer became the funky headhunter?
Yes. Wow. Okay. We don't want to talk about Leprechaun. So I'm not.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I do remember that album because that was when MC Hammer was like, "I'm all hard now. I'm a headhunter," and he tried to cash in on the gangster rap, but he, parachute pants Hammer. That's your MO. So Leprechaun Returns is basically like a follow-up, I think, to the original Leprechaun. I've in different states of sobriety have seen the entire Leprechaun series, but I don't remember any of it. I don't care. They've always just been these kind of goofy little fast food movie meals for me to watch and have fun with. Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun was always great. So I was a little bit worried that this new guy coming in would not kind of fill those shoes. he does a pretty good job. He's pretty fun. I'm trying to find his name here, but I can't.
Is it the same
Lyndon Porco.
guy? Did he do the Origins?
No, that's the wrestler guy.
Okay.
I never saw. You know what? I never saw Leprechaun Origins. I heard it's just awful. But So anyway, but it stuck with the feel of the Leprechaun films. It's ultra gory, a lot of fun, creative kills. He does his little rhymes when he murders someone, and the storyline is basically one of the girls is the daughter to I want to say Jennifer Aniston's character, but I
was gonna guess that because she's the only thing most people know about this series.
Yeah, so the Leprechaun comes back. These sorority girls are doing some sort of eco-friendly project, apparently, and she's kind of new to the project, and of course he wants his gold that's supposed to be on the property, and they of course took some of it in to help pay for some of the equipment into town, and so everyone gets brutally murdered. So there's some really fun gore. I just had a lot of fun with it, and it's directed by Steven Kostanski, who of course the WOYD and our friends.
Astron 6, man.
Astron 6. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's fun. I was surprised. I saw it was sci-fi, so I was like, oh shoot, it's not gonna have the fun gore, but sci-fi knows what's up. They put it all in there, and I would say people have been shitting on this film. I would say what does everyone think that the Leprechaun series is? Like, this is just fun little escapism, gore, and some comedy. So I had fun with it. Have any of you guys seen this newest Leprechaun film?
Yeah, I saw it not a couple years ago, but a little while ago.
I saw it 5 years ago before it was made, and I got like this pre-screening.
Well, I saw it for a festival, Sean, but thank you. Screened it for a festival, but yeah, it's actually one of the reasons why I watched the first Leprechaun not too long ago.
Nice.
Because I bought that set, but I remember seeing Leprechaun when I was younger. But I don't remember everything about it, so I rewatched that so I could watch this one because I know it was a sequel. It's fine. I had fun with it. I mean, I don't really. Then I watched, I think, the second one, which one's in Vegas. I watched that one.
I think that's the third one.
Oh my God. What's the second one?
I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
This is not a series.
They all run together. All I know is he goes to the hood and he goes to base at some point.
And he goes back to the hood, bro.
Hell yeah, he does.
Never forget that.
Does he go back to space or just back to the hood?
Just back to the hood.
Okay. Yeah, Vegas is the third one. I think that's the last one I saw, and it was actually one of the first horror movies I saw when I started sneaking them on Cinemax. That's a weird movie to see when you're pretty brand new to horror movies.
What is number 2?
Oh
yeah. I don't remember anything about that movie, but yeah, I remember watching it. It takes place in like the woods and stuff. Yeah, those movies are tough, man. I think I stopped at 3 and I watched Origins. So.
Yeah, they're real fans though. I remember 10 years ago, someone worked really hard to make a fan trailer of Leprechaun versus Chucky. we still need that movie. Got a new Chucky movie out. Leprechaun's still going. I mean,
I think the people that liked Leprechaun movies are people that really like Trauma and Full Moon. Like
the Venn diagram is because I like old Full Moon and Empire. I'm not really the new Bonginator or whatever the hell.
I'm Puppet Master Full Moon.
Bongzilla.
I would see Zilla. If it has Zilla in it, I'll see it.
Is that no? It's not what it's called. Bongzilla. I don't. Tales from the Bong.
Who knows?
The Ginger Dead Man.
I've seen Ginger Dead Man.
No, the second one is good. It's at a roller disco, and the cast is like 80% drag queens. That's a good one.
Fantastic.
Actually, that's what I compared because I saw Child's Play today, and I compared it to like if Moonbeam and Full Moon had a lot of money to make a movie now. That's what it feels like.
Okay,
But
that and people comparing it to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 kind of makes me want to see it now.
it's not compared to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's
Reminiscent?
no. There's a
Wings?
long scene of them watching
Oh,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and Chucky gets inspired by it.
it's cheating, but okay.
What's funny about
Yeah.
the new Child's Play is for some reason that robot had like a kill switch. Like that
Like
they
the
had that they
Krusty
had to
doll in
disable.
Treehouse of Horror. It's your problem.
Do they
It says
explain
to
the kill switch? Do they explain why he has a kill switch? Was he like upgraded military tech that they just turned into a toy or what?
Are you being serious?
It's called spoilers, everybody.
He's a robot in this one. It's like a
all right.
It's
relax.
not a spoiler.
No, relax. I'll review Chucky real quick. Or Child's Play, new Child's Play. It's fun. It's actually a fun movie. There are a couple things that are wonky, but there's a lot of comedy. It's totally not feels like a Chucky movie at all. It's a complete reboot. There are some callbacks to the originals as far as like dialogue and names and things like that. But for the most part, it stands on its own, and it's an animatronic. Pretty much all practical effects, aside from a couple things when they move really fast. But it's gory. It's funny. It's weird. I kind of felt like it didn't like. I should have been like direct to video. That's kind of feel that I had. It felt like I was watching something I shouldn't be in the theater.
Like Leprechaun Returns.
No, honestly, I know that people are going to be shocked when I say this, but at the time that I saw it, when I saw Mad Max Fury Road, I walked out of the theater. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck did I just see? Like, I just saw this amazing movie, but I don't feel like it. I don't feel like people are ready for this. You know, like how did this get into the theaters?
Oh,
like,
you scared me.
Are people really going to go?
I was ready to.
Oh no! I was like, are people ready to actually fucking see Mad Max Fury Road? And it was not saying that Chucky's Mad Max Fury Road, but I just have that like oh my God! Like I just saw this new child. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a Child's Play movie in a theater to begin with. I guess Seed was the last one that I've seen. But it felt weird watching a Child's Play movie that's not Child's Play at the same time. But it's fine. I just think my only beef with it is something that's non-spoiler at all. It's Chucky's head's too big. And eyes are too big. I think they needed to tone it down a little bit because Chucky can never be scary because he's just this big-headed doll that looks goofy.
That makes sense because that's one of the reasons why we want to protect babies is because they have like giant heads and their features are exaggerated. Did you feel protective towards Chucky in this movie, Brad?
They do because you kind of feel because it's set up to the point where Chucky's not a serial killer. He, in Child's Play, he's a serial killer right off the bat. This doll learns, so it's a lot different. So,
how'd you feel morally seeing it with all like the behind the scenes drama?
What's the behind the scenes drama?
Well, with like Don Mancini doing the TV show instead of this, and saying basically that it's not the real Chucky.
Yeah, who cares?
A
lot of people, honestly. I mean, I understand if you don't.
Well, I know. It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind.
Is that I rarely scroll through Twitter because people have those arguments and discussions, and I just find it silly. Like, let movies be made how they want to be made. If I know I've heard Don Mancini's kind of doing his own thing. I've heard, like, I remember like a long time ago there was like Not My Chucky or something. I don't care. Here's the thing: is Don Mancini can do it or somebody else, I'll always be there for Chucky.
Yeah,
Same
That's how it works.
like any horror remake, I'll be there for it. You know, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna watch every movie anyway. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm gonna support everything because that's what I love. You know, I really see a huge backlash coming with this one though, just because of how different it is with Chucky in general. But it has a lot of cool moments though. It's pretty gory and it's fun. You know, might watch it one more time and then I'll be done. I mean, it's not Brad at Chucky.
Did you like Hamill's voice in it? And nothing is Brad Chucky. That's a perfect movie.
So yeah, I thought that was a waste for Hamill because I really feel that nothing actually happened with Chucky. There's no laugh, there's no iconic voice. It doesn't really feel they could have picked anybody. Like, Hamill serves no purpose as far as a voice actor is concerned. They could have hired anybody because he doesn't do anything special.
Yeah, he got brought in. He turned that around pretty quick too, I believe.
That's what it feels like, and also the score doesn't feel like it belongs either because it's way too good.
All right, was that your turn, Brad?
No. Stephanie's next, and then I go.
Oh yeah, Stephanie. Got confused
again. That's great.
Well, no, I was like trying to get like reset. Like, wait a minute, where are we in our rotation? So Stephanie.
Well, I'll wrap up my part then because I can see I'm not wanted.
Oh, stop!
Oh.
Brad is pretty classy, so I'm not sure if he's going to bring up vinegar syndrome at all. But they recently had their halfway to Black Friday sale, which I always indulge in. It's always a lot of fun. And I have not had a time to dive into. I haven't even been able to see Night Beasts yet. And that's all anyone can talk about. But I was finally able to see Death Row Game Show, which I have almost bought since my very first order in like 2016. And for some reason, I keep not getting it. But no one told me it was like kind of spoofy Kentucky Fried Movie, kind of goofy madness, because that would have got me immediately.
Did you not listen to our episode talking about Death Row Game Show?
No, I hate this show.
Oh my god!
Now, why does she want to listen to fucking white dudes talk about fucking Death Row Game Show?
I know.
Come on, man.
Did the host not look like Tom Cruise?
Finite amount of time on this planet.
Did the host not look like Tom Cruise? Like, I imagine, like,
no, his hair did, but not his face at all.
Okay, well, all right.
But the first new one I watched, I was dying for, is can you guess? We'll see.
Oh, guess. Lust in the Dust.
Yeah, Brad.
Lust for Freedom. Lust for Freedom. Did I win something?
I bought it. I haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, because of course I worship Divine, but I'm also a really big Paul Bartel fan, and that seems like a match made in heaven. And so Divine reunites with Tab Hunter. Of course, she was so memorable in Polyester. But I didn't know, I was watching the extras, I didn't know Tab Hunter, this was like his idea. And he was the producer. And that makes me so happy. So this is also, it's a spoof of Westerns. And it's, Divine is playing the ingenue role. And there's kind of a finding gold subplot, but it's just a situation just for funny sex jokes and everything. And it's a blast if you enjoy things like, there's goofers like Death Row Game Show and Psychos in Love and even more campy things and more queer kind of movies. Lust in the Dust is amazing. And I've never seen Divine without John Waters before. And I just wish his life wasn't cut short as early as it was, because I really think he was a comedic genius. So that was a lot of fun. But I'm still going, Sean. Is that making you angry?
No.
Yeah, it feels like he's getting really angry over there.
I know. I can tell from your breathing.
Yeah, I can hear you breathe.
Shut up. You cannot hear me breathe.
So it's kind of
He's
funny.
like holding his breath. Sean passes out during the show.
We're talking about early 2000 horror movies before, because I finally saw the remake of House of Wax.
Oh.
So good.
What did you think?
So I remember when it came out, all anyone talked about was Paris Hilton. And it even had an MTV reality show connected to it, showing the making of it. And it's actually, I looked it up. The whole thing's on YouTube if you want to see it. And it's so friggin' weird because you see Joel Silver trying to explain to Paris Hilton why she can't dress as herself in the movie. So it'd be like, no, you have to wear sweats. You kind of like a hip hop girl. And she's like, and then I'll cut to her in the interview. She's like, eventually I understood that she shouldn't dress like me. And that was really good for me. I was like, okay, but at this age, I kind of love that. At the time, I was really snooty about Paris Hilton, but now I found it really endearing. But yeah, it got pressed because of that. And at the time, like the slashers were getting churned out, and slashers had never had a good reputation, but it seemed especially shitty because not cool fans like Brad and Sean, but like the elitist angry fans, there wasn't like a celebration that there was a lot of bigger budget horror being made. It was more derisive, like it's too mainstream, it's too glossy. And sometimes that was true, but House of Wax was so freaking good. And I was so angry that I bought into it. It's my own fault, but
it's beautiful. And it's super like the cut scenes and some of just the shots are fucking amazing. The split of the faces with the wax with the brothers, oh my god,
brutal. And a lot of it's
so
heartbreaking because the camera is right there and the effects are so wonderful that you can actually feel the pain. Plus they actually spend the time building up all the characters. They're not just like pretty fodder. They take their time letting you follow them through. So it's kind of like their car breaks down. They end up in a weird little town. They split up to try to find a car part, try to get some help. And they find this ornate wax museum. And it's a Dark Castle film. And you can say what you want about the Dark Castle films, but they are great at like House on Haunted Hill, that house.
They look beautiful.
Yeah, it just sears itself into your brain immediately. It looks fantastic. And if you've seen the original, it's pretty much the same plot, but it really makes it its own. It expands upon it. It uses the entire town. And I I assumed I would see every beat coming, and I didn't. And it was so fun. It was genuinely scary. And the finale,
it was amazing.
It really, truly is.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, duh, of course. But if you're kind of like me and you let just the stupid, meaningless stuff kind of keep you from seeing it.
It really did. MTV and Paris Hilton. I mean, Paris Hilton's fine in the movie. She doesn't do anything wrong. I think she's,
that's the thing. She's just like a regular
serviceable. Actress. Yeah, like nothing's wrong with her being in it. But that's what killed that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like during its release. I mean, it made money, but it's still rejected because people immediately bring that up. And I'm like, no, this movie's number one, beautiful. It's really good. And if you ever want to watch a remake of Tourist Trap, here you go. Because
yeah.
Essentially, it's a remake of Tourist. I don't even think they remade House of Wax. They remade fucking Tourist Trap.
This wax museum, Brad. The House was wax museum.
They took the wax concept and put it in Tourist Trap.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's almost like kind of, there's a lot of beat for Tourist Trap remake. But anyways, yeah, it's either or. It's still one of my favorite. Like at the time, I mean, now it's what fucking 15 years old, but still a wonderful modern slasher. Even after all this shit of all these slashers being poured out, like that was one of the ones that I remember sitting in the theater like, oh my God, like this is really fucking good. Like, but I think a lot of those Dark Castle movies are overlooked. Ghost Ship, 13 Ghosts, House on Haunted Hills, still one of my favorites. I think a lot of those are good. And something that I skipped over because it was ruined for me, the ending, and I watched it not too long ago, but Orphan, that was fucking good.
Yeah, Orphan's awesome. Orphan kicks ass. I love Orphan.
Yeah, I was like, it was ruined for me because I knew the ending. And then I always heard it was Justin Bieber's favorite movie of all time.
What? Of all time?
It is.
Well, he hasn't lived that long, so it's okay.
Apparently
it could be his favorite movie.
So I heard that, and I mean, mainly because it was spoiled for me. I just didn't get around to seeing it. And then it was like at Big Lots or something. It was like in the dollar bin, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And I watched it. I'm like, fuck, this is good. Like, this is a really good movie. It's weird, it's fucking very uncomfortable, and it's also kind of scary. But yeah, did someone just turn on their camera?
What?
I was disconnected and it chose my camera. I don't know why.
Oh,
sorry, Sean, you have to do a little editing.
Yeah, it's still recording, so we're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
All right.
I might not even edit. I don't have time to edit.
13.
No, you don't need to. That was fun.
13 I don't know,
ghosts.
like 13 Ghosts should be great. It's the ghosts are incredible. That glass house.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they use that in filming. It's brilliant, but it's one of the worst scripts. The dialogue is terrible. I don't like any of the characters, and it's such a frustrating movie for me. Ghost Ship, I need to rewatch. It actually came on a 3-pack. I love House on Haunted Hill. I'll all day long. No. Ghost Ship, one of the best openings to a horror movie. I love it. And I feel like the rest of it wasn't very memorable, but I do need to see it again. So yeah, Dark Castle, such a mixed bag for me.
Yeah, they did a few. They also had the Return to House on Haunted Hill, which was okay. I didn't mind that movie actually.
I like it.
Whiteout, the Kate Beckinsale slasher. That was kind of fun too.
Was it? All I heard was terrible things.
All I heard was Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. So well, they also had fucking Hills Run Red, which was fucking good too. That always gets overlooked.
I love Hills. Yeah, Hills on Red's awesome.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's about the guy that directed, I think, The Dead Hate the Living, which is another kind of underrated movie. But anyways, now we're just talking.
I've seen that movie so many.
We're just all right. So
The Dead Hate the Living,
and co-written by David J. Scow.
All right, Brad, is
it writers?
Brad, is your turn?
Yeah,
we kind of gave you extra time. I don't know. I should skip you.
Well, I'll talk about a very frustrating movie that I really wanted to like because I really enjoyed the first 45 minutes of this movie. So I watched Greta, which is directed by can't think of his name, Neil, Crying Game.
I've been wanting to watch that. I've heard mixed things about it. Greta.
Neil Jordan.
That's it.
Neil Jordan, right? I think that's it. So, Greta is a great setup. The actors are all fucking great through the entire thing. And mainly it revolves around three women. The older lady Greta, and then the two young teens, which is Chloe
Moretz.
Chloe Moretz, and then is it McKay Monroe? Yeah.
Is it McKay or Micah? Micah Monroe. All I know is
sure.
All I know is
she's in It Follows, and Independence Day 2, and I mean, she's great. She's always fabulous. She's in the movie Villains that's coming out. Apparently got picked up. That Steph really liked.
Finally, yeah.
So, like the setup for Greta is great. It's this, kind of a waitress living with her friend who kind of has a silver spoon, who's handed everything, live with her friend like Chicago, New York. I can't really remember. Big city. And she finds this bag on a subway, and then she has the kindness actually not to take anything and go return the bag. And there she meets this old woman, Greta, and they start kind of a relationship. And her mom, Chloe Moretz' mom, passed away when she was younger, so she kind of almost has this kind of mother-like figure with, along with her, teaching her, has her over to cook and talk and everything like that. Well, just like in the trailer, she looks in one of Greta's pantries, and there's all these bags that have certain names on them. So it's like this, thing that she's doing, putting these random bags on trains and having, doing this to people. And it's really suspenseful. And then every bit, like, I can give my suspension disbelief. Easy. Fine. I love Reign of Fire with Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale where they fight dragons. Great movie.
So
I can buy that shit. But if you're grounded in that reality with a movie, you can't kind of, take a detour from the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I feel movies sometimes do that with logic.
Like us.
I haven't seen that, so
damn it! Why haven't you seen Us yet? God damn it!
I'll see it eventually. So there's a certain portion that I can only let so much logic go. Like, like when Scream says, like fucking Sidney Prescott, when she's saying, they should be running out the front door and running upstairs, blah, blah, blah. That's stuff I understand, because in the heat of the moment, sometimes you may not know what to do. You make a mistake. But it's every bad and wrong decision is made in this movie to the point where it's frustrating and you're kind of very, very angry. And I feel that that's kind of the general consensus from everybody I've kind of read about after watching the movie. That's what people are saying, because it's really good for about 45 minutes. And then it just completely falls apart because of the dumb logic. It's not even that they ignore it. It's just that it's never addressed. For example, if you had characters that are stuck in a house running around from a killer, if they never mention about someone calling for help with a cell phone, that would make you angry. Because at least address it, at least say there's no signal, at least say something. And that's something that's never done in this movie, as far as like seeking help or doing something that the character should, or they just blatantly ignore when we know it's there. And it's not something where it's like you have to use your head. It's just, it's common sense isn't so common in this movie. And that's what's very frustrating about it, especially coming from Neil Jordan. Because I feel that a lot of his movies, especially kind of in the early 90s and even in the late 90s, his movies are pretty well crafted. He has crazy characters, but decision making is at least grounded in reality. And I feel that that's something that this film suffers from, and it comes out of nowhere, and is very, very frustrating movie. But I tell you, it's some of the best acting I've seen in a long ass time, as far as like characters. Like, it's really fucking good. And it's mainly just Chloe Moretz, and I can't pronounce the older lady's name that plays Greta. I feel bad now. But like their relationship and the intimidate, like this older lady is intimidating as shit.
Isabel Huppert?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, I love her.
So, she's been recognizable face, but I couldn't like put two and two together. But still, she's very, very good. That's just something the film has for it. But I mean, still watch it and then let me know how frustrated you all are with the terrible decision making and ignoring facts in life.
Nice.
So yeah, it kind of ruined it for me, but you can't win them all.
It's been on my to rent list. All right.
Yeah, same here. It's way up there.
We need to start wrapping up soon. So after I go, then we'll do one more round. And then we'll wrap it up. FYI, everybody.
Sounds good, Daddy.
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
So the movie I want to talk about, the movie I want to talk about next is this movie I've been wanting to watch for a long time, and I finally grabbed the Blu-ray of it. And of course, it's a manufactured Blu-ray, manufactured MOD. God damn it! But still,
that's okay, Sean.
That is, I'm learning to grow as a human being. Okay, so this stars Nick Thune, the comedian, who I actually kind of like. Directed by Bill Watterson, and it's called Dave Made a Maze. And I've been
I want to see that so much.
The story goes, the girlfriend comes home to their apartment. She sees this big cardboard fort built in their living room, and she hears Dave inside the maze, and he's apparently built a maze because once he starts something, he can't stop. And it's all cardboard, and of course, everyone wants to come see it. A film, they're all in like Silver Lake, LA area, so there's a lot of kind of LA, actor jokes and things like that. His friend's doing a documentary to document the maze, and so it starts off that way. And of course, they go inside the maze, and of course, the maze inside is bigger than the actual room, and they get lost in this labyrinth. And he's actually built death traps inside. And he has to finish the maze in order to break the maze, it's everything's practical. There's even a scene where they turn into like paper bag puppets for a while, and it's just this wild, crazy, imaginative, short little film. It's like 71 minutes, but it's it's the creativity in this, and the visuals are so great, and it's funny. And I would recommend you watch it if you have not seen it yet. I think if you're in the UK, I think Arrow put it on Blu-ray there.
Ooh.
And it's available, of course, streaming on. I think you can watch it for free on Amazon Prime. I think, but of course, I had to buy it. But it's wildly imaginative would be my pull quote, and just goofy and fun. Reminded me of what I love about kind of these, just goofy films of the '80s like Labyrinth and things like that. I mean, it's obviously poking more fun at these types of films, but it's funny. The one of the running gags is, so this guy's directing the documentary. He's like directing a documentary, and like he's telling them to always keep rolling. There's one guy carrying the boomstick the whole time, no matter what's happening, and he's like, and the director's like directing the scenes. Even in like they're having natural dialogue if someone got hurt or whatever. I'm not going to spoil anything because just let the surprises happen. But he's like directing, even though something really serious happened, he's still kind of trying to direct the dialogue, which is a great little bit. So check it out. Dave Made a Maze. It's out now everywhere.
My review is that it's okay. I feel that I would have liked this movie better if it was made in the 80s and had kids.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's very creative, and it's I was reading about they only had like one room to actually do the cardboard, so they were like ripping down the cardboard like in between takes. They would just flip the camera around. It's very clever, I will give it that. But I was shocked when you said 71 minutes because I thought it was in 171 minutes. But yeah,
oh shit,
it's a fun little movie.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. All right,
so follow that,
Stephanie.
Whoa, well, I did say I was done.
Oh, shit. Okay, do you have something else?
Yeah, I'll just throw you a couple little bones real quick.
Whoa.
Throw me a bone,
I took a bunch of notes on that Jane Mansfield documentary, but I didn't look at them because I'm an idiot. And I forgot a really cool Okay, you remember how I made the lion connection
Uh-huh.
to Roar? There's another huge lion thing. So Anton LaVey had that lion, and totally separate. Nothing that belonged to him. Jane Mansfield took her kids to a habitat to see some lions, and one of her sons got mauled by a
Oh my
lion.
God.
Yeah.
So everyone getting mauled by lions.
Yes, it's like this crazy friggin' satanic lion cabal. And then they like reenacted this whole thing of like her praying to LaVey for her son to live, and her son lived. And then she became an avowed Satanist. And then I guess LaVey is credited as a technical advisor on the car. And of course, she died in the car. So therefore, his curse is why she died. It is weird. This is the whole thing.
Bonkers.
But on a lighter note, John Waters, the reason he got the idea for his signature mustache was from Little Richard in The Girl Can't Help It, which is a great Jane Mansfield movie and one of the great Technicolor movies of all time. And he said it was a huge influence on Divine, who he described as Jane Mansfield meets Godzilla. So I just wanted to throw that in. Oh, nice. And I was at Big Lots, and I randomly saw Monsters versus Aliens, the CGI Kids movie, which I originally saw in the theater for some reason. And I was like, oh, I'll see it again. I remember liking it, and I loved it.
Wow.
But I don't know. It's like Reese Witherspoon in a kid's kaiju movie. So I don't know why I wouldn't love it. So, hey, everybody, go out there and read Monsters.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's really good. Okay. And that's what I'm going out on. I'm going out on a DreamWorks CGI kids movie. Thank you.
Perfect. I have kids and they watched it. They like buried that thing to the ground, so I can't watch the thing anymore. Brad?
I'm gonna go. I don't think we've talked about any older films.
No.
Have we? I guess you talked about Roar.
Talked about Roar.
Yeah.
Shredder. 2002.
Boy, I'm forgettable.
All right. So I watched a sex comedy that I didn't even know existed. Had no idea it existed. So it's kind of shocked, and it has a pretty big, two major stars. I guess they were kind of major at the time. They've always kind of been in the spotlight, but it's called Some Girls. From 1988, has Patrick Dempsey as the lead, who's always been charming in pretty much everything that he's was in as a young teen and young man, and then Jennifer Connelly as well. So
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, it's kind of a wonderful movie at the same time of being kind of a sex comedy. So Patrick Dempsey's character is has his girlfriend who Gabby, I think her name is. So anyways, he is going up to visit her during holidays for Christmas. And basically when he gets there, he's meeting her two sisters, her grandma and her parents, and they live in this like old crazy fucking house. And her family is very eccentric, very crazy. Like the dad's an atheist author who walks around naked while writing his books. Her mom is a big Catholic. Her other sister's a total hornball that tries to fuck everybody. And then her grandmother is kind of in a mental institution as well, and she lives there part-time. So as soon as they get up there, she tells Michael that she's not in love with him anymore, doesn't want to be with him. But he wants to figure out why and try to win her back, so he stays there with the family. Meanwhile, encountering all these, the crazy family members. So it's raunchy in the sense of like, the one sister walks around naked. She's trying to screw everybody. There's a lot of like sexy time in the movie, but then it really dives down into like the needs and wants for a human, kind of like we say like the you yeah, I would say the kind of the wants and needs. Like you want something, but that's may not what you need. You need something, but that's may not what you want. That type of thing. And about Michael dealing with the rejection as well as kind of dealing. They're not telling the family about the breakup, so he's becoming closer with the family, having conversations, and one of the huge little side stories to this is that the grandmother looks at Michael, who's the Patrick Dempsey character, and she sees her old husband. So she thinks that her husband is back, not back from the dead, but has never left, and is just a young man visiting her. So she starts to fall in love with Michael on the side, which is very funny at first, but it really truly has this amazing turnaround of characters and development as far as being a human being and understanding each other and who we really are. It gets really fucking deep, is what I'm trying to say.
Whoa.
Like I'm sitting there like thinking, oh yeah, funny sex comedy. This is funny. And all of a sudden, the next thing, I got tears in my eyes from these conversations these people are having. So it completely does a total fucking 180 on you.
Is it kind of like Say Anything in that way?
No, it's a little bit deeper, but I mean, it's not a bad comparison because that movie does take a turn, but Say Anything moves too fast. Like, there's one moment where Lloyd is at a party with Eric Stoltz, and was it Eric Stoltz's party or is it Jeremy Piven? I can't really remember. And he moves glass for her. She's moving away. Then the father's in cuffs, and then he's visiting. Lloyd is visiting him in prison. Like, all that happens in a span of fucking like 45 minutes. And if Say Anything is a great movie, but it moves way too quickly. This movie takes over a course of like 3 days. And it really has a very good emotional human connection with all the characters, and also being so different. And you have characters that are closed off, and then you have characters that are free, and then you have characters who may seem like they're crazy, but underneath that crazy, so-called crazy, is that it's still a human being, and they still have wants and needs and feelings. So it really it's a truly wonderful movie. But it's kind of off-putting because it's a sex comedy at first. But then it really has this beautiful story underlining it. And man, if you don't cry during one scene of this movie, you're not fucking human.
All right, I need to see this.
Yeah, but it's called Some Girls. It's on Vudu to rent. It's also on Amazon Prime, I think, for free. So obviously everybody's going to do that. But yeah, it's a truly wonderful. So that should be your night or this weekend.
All right.
So
very nice. All right, I'm gonna blast through a few things and then we will say goodnight. So
do it, bruh.
Quick ones. These are new ones. So I finally watched Suspiria the Remake. It's fantastic. It does exactly what a remake should do, as in reinvent, remake the film and be its own thing. Amazing performances, amazing visuals. The music's great. I loved it. I love it. Like really, really, really loved it. So
good. I was about to say something.
Jordan Peele's Us, really well done film, creative. For me, didn't stick the landing. Its logic kind of gets untied, unravels towards the end. Still very solid. Untethered. Still a very
Untangled is something you probably wanted it to do.
Untangled. Still, Jordan Peele is showing us that he's a very is a fantastic addition to the horror genre, and I loved it. I just like Get Out has. I don't want to spoil anything, but Get Out kind of has its own logic and kind of nightmare logic it runs by. Same thing with Us, which, if you approach Us that way, it's fine. I just kind of overanalyze things, but so it kind of fell apart near the end. But still, wonderful film. Let's see. I think it's all I got. Oh, shit. Happy Death Day to You.
Yeah.
One of the best sequels ever. It takes the premise of Happy Death Day, flips it on its head, adds to it without being repetitive, and they actually play with that at the beginning. You think it's going to be the same thing with a different character. Nope, multiverse. So it's great. Watch Happy Death Day to You.
Yeah,
really
I love it.
Really fun. And what's fun is like my wife likes Happy Death Day, so I was able to sit down with my wife and my daughter, and we all watched Happy Death Day to You, and we had a blast. So,
good.
And I think that's it. Yeah.
Wow, that was quick. We should do that with more movies.
All right. Well, I think it's gonna do it for this second episode of the Screamcast, and we'll try to do this more often, everybody, as my schedule starts kind of getting more and more manageable. But where can everyone find you guys on social media if you would like them to find you?
Fucking serious?
Brad's doesn't do Twitter anymore. You're not. You just don't even go.
I mean, I say things. I don't really scroll and listen to all this bullshit.
Yeah, he won't listen to you, but you can listen to him.
All right. So, Stephanie, you're on a bunch of podcasts and stuff. What's going on? Plug the stuff. Plug what you're involved with. Just the discs.
I don't know. Just the discs, yeah.
Tales from the Crypt stuff still going?
Yep, still.
I
just started writing about the last season though,
yes.
So the finish line is looming.
You got John Kassir to say your name, or no? Who did?
I know. He gave
did that
a
for
shout
you?
out.
Who
What?
was it? Jonathan Barkin? Was he?
Yeah, he saw him at a convention and he just.
Barkan.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Sorry, John.
That is my bad. Yeah, recorded him. That was really cool.
That was great. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm just Scrawfish on Twitter, and yeah, you'll see everything.
All right.
And it's the usual. I'm boring.
You're not
Thank
boring.
you. I missed you guys. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, I'm happy it worked out too.
I hope we pick it back up.
We will.
You're one of the only people that I read, Stephanie.
Yep.
You and 5 others.
By all means, the Screamcast is not on its deathbed at all. I just needed to kind of get in the groove, and it's starting to happen. So, you can follow me on Twitter, Sean C. DeRager. If you would like a free audiobook, I probably have codes, so just hit me up if you want to hear my shit. If you don't, that's fine. Just, I don't know.
Don't be mean to my reads, okay?
The Fetishists is one. If you're a fan, if you like horror, The Fetishists is worth checking out. I am narrating Isaac Thorne's The Gordon Place. That's next on my list to work on. I'm very excited to work on Isaac Thorne's stuff. And then I'm going to be narrating a Gary Bradner novel called The Brain Eaters. So I'm getting my own. I get to do a paperback from hell, which is fantastic. And that may lead to more Gary Bradner stuff. I think Carry On is on the list for me to do as well. So I got some horror stuff to narrate if you guys are interested. So yeah, that's it. Anything else, anybody?
No, that's it.
No? All right. Well, all of you guys have a great rest of the whatever, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
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 Oh, don't tell me you're leaving. The party's just begun.